I can't even remember how it goes.
It was jazzy, wasn't it?
Right, welcome back, Dan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome back to Two Broke Brokers.
2023.
We're either more motivated or less motivated, or just as same motivated as we were to do this last year
For the podcast.
for the podcast and in life in general,
I think I've maintained a consistent level of motivation for this.
which is just what sort of middling.
Yeah, it was slow at start, but I reckon it's just something that now that we've put time for it mentally,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we've actually practiced it as well, that it's so much easier to keep going.
Yeah, this is true. We were planning on starting this earlier in January again,
Yeah.
but you were travelling, then it was my birthday, then it was my girlfriend's birthday, work is busy.
Yeah.
But we're here, we'll go back to our normal routine, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully, inshallah.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
Fantastic. And
thanks for listening.
we were away for Christmas. I went back home, and this has been, I believe, the first year since COVID that I would call it a COVID-less Christmas.
Okay, interesting.
No, if someone got COVID in the UK or even over here, you'd find it wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
Last year, I remember spending Christmas in my mum's house, and I wasn't allowed out. I had to get my
Interesting,
PCR
yeah.
before I jumped on the plane.
Yeah.
All this
Did you
thing.
not have to do that this
I
year?
didn't even think about it.
Really?
And I just walked right through. No PCR. I think now that obviously China is, they've opened the gates to their people. They've been in lockdown, poor sods,
That could make
for
a change, to be fair.
however long since it started, and it's been like die hard. You're not allowed out, more or less, and now they've released the gates to their own, and everyone seems to be getting it in China. So I think other countries should just be a bit cautious. Like, obviously they don't PCR me, whatever, before I go to UK, but if I was coming from China, I believe that they should at least PCR them, like test
Yeah,
them. just
you've got
before-
to, haven't you? You've got
because
to. Really.
otherwise
You're coming from a hotspot.
you may just end up spiking in the country. I mean, it's floating around over here.
Anyway,
somewhere.
this is not a COVID podcast.
No, it's not.
2023 is a COVID-free
But I
year.
had an excellent Christmas.
Yeah.
COVID was not in my way. How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was good, thanks. It was my first orphan Christmas. My first Christmas away from family. Ever.
Orphan Christmas.
An orphan Christmas, yeah. No parents, no grandparents, nothing. So, yeah, first Christmas in Dubai. It was sick. I don't know if I'll ever go home for Christmas again. Mate, it was fucking quality.
Did you have a Christmas tree here? Or?
No, didn't have. That was about as close to a Christmas tree as we got here. Didn't put a Christmas tree up. Did loads.
Did
to
it
be fair.
feel Christmassy?
Yeah, mate. Well Christmassy.
Really?
Well, Christmassier. Christmassier?
It's not a word, but I know what you're
Christmassy.
saying.
More Christmassy than it has in the UK for years. The weather was chilly for Dubai, sort of like it is now. Did Christmas Eve drinks.
Which is like 23 degrees.
But it's fucking
During the
cold,
day.
isn't it? It is fucking
not
cold.
cold.
It is cold. You're just saying that because you've been to
At
Scotland.
night time it drops to
At
like
night time it
a
does.
respectable 12 to 15.
That's cold, man.
15.
If we were to go out on the balcony now, I'd need my dressing gown, 100%. Anyway, yeah, everything is so Christmassy out here, man. People put Christmas lights up. Christmas Eve drinks was lovely. We did a brunch on Christmas Day. We did like an evening brunch. Fucking lovely, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, really, really nice, really Christmassy. Obviously, I miss my family and my friends and everything. Wow, I don't know if I'd ever do Christmas at home again.
I think Christmas brunches are just one way to forget that you're not home.
Yeah, but what are you going to do if you're home? Because, like, that sounds harsher than it needed to be.
I have dinner with my family and stuff. It's lovely.
No,
I only get
it
to
is
see them
nice.
once a year,
But-
so that's really super Christmases to me. I couldn't. Spend
Okay,
Christmas.
fair enough.
I think
But
we've got mixed opinions here. But
I've got
I couldn't spend Christmas.
I've got a very close family. We don't go out on Christmas. We don't do Christmas Eve drinks or anything like that. So it's almost just like another Sunday back home.
There is no dedicated day for drinks. You just drink every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Are we still talking about Christmas or just in general?
Christmas. I swear.
Anyway, so yeah, Christmas was really good, mate. I probably will go home next year for Christmas, but yeah, well, it's just too cold, right? It's
No.
just too cold.
Just grew up in the cold.
Yeah, very true.
So, we'll talk a bit more about what's going on. We'll have a catch up, because there's a few things have cropped up in the news. And speaking of alcohol, this did come up in the
Good
news.
segue, yeah, nice. We're getting good at this.
They're dropping the tax on alcohol, right?
So they're cutting the alcohol tax by 30%, I think.
Which is excellent.
It's massive, man.
You think that, I mean, I drink a regular amount, probably average. And
Okay.
when you
Average for a Scot.
When you go out, right, a pint would be about 55 dirhams, which is more or less 11 to 12 pounds, which could be about, I don't know, 15, 16 American dollars.
Oh, we're covering all the currencies.
I'll just say that.
It's
Just
about
in case.
15,000 rupees.
Yeah,
It's
right.
X amount of yen.
get it,
Yeah,
you
we're
get
going through
it,
them
right.
all, are we?
All I'm saying is,
It's
if
a
that
lot
could
of
be
money.
dropped by 30%, then
I don't know. No, so
if it's the tax on it, which is probably 50%, so 30% of 50%.
15% in total. We'll probably show.
I don't know.
But it's a big saving. So obviously, like the what would you call like African and Eastern? It's a
African and Eastern is a booze shop.
yeah, but there's a word for it in there, like a cash and carry sort of thing almost.
Oh, like a key store.
No.
Corner
Well, that's not a thing. Keister is a knife up your bum, isn't it?
Key store.
Oh right, okay.
Or a corner shop or whatever.
It's sort of, yeah, but so the shops where you
The
buy
offies.
alcohol,
The
yeah,
offies.
it's an off license. Yeah, that's what it is.
license,
Yeah.
offies.
So buying direct from an off license, it's pretty much the cost saving is there already. With the pubs and the bars and stuff, they still have stock where they've paid the 30% tax for. So it's going to be about a month to 2 months before we actually see that on nights out.
It'll be interesting
But-
to see.
Yeah, mate, it's a huge
And
thing.
they're raising cigarettes.
This is the thing, right? So you're more
Cigarettes are pretty cheap over here.
cigarettes are pretty
Reasonably,
cheap.
like,
I think they're raising the tax by 200%.
yeah.
So it's quite a big increase, which is shit for me because I smoke more than I drink, but probably all right for you because you drink more than you smoke, right?
Oh, and I try and vape every now and
And
then.
you try and vape. But this is fascinating to me because the locals don't drink, right? They smoke. So that just baffles me, right? It shows how Dubai is leaning even more into tourism.
I was with a guy on last week. I had a viewing at. He was a tenant of an office and he was moving out, so he opened up the door and let me and my client in. And he was a local. A local. He was born in the UK, but he came to Dubai with his family when he was 8 years old.
Right.
He's been in Dubai 40 years plus.
Has he got the passport?
I didn't ask that.
Right, fair enough.
But anyway, he says it's absolutely mental, the changes that have happened over this course of time.
Yeah.
And he says, you know, if you'd seen it back then, you wouldn't recognise the place. Obviously, I mean, people know that. They see the before and after pictures of 20 years, never mind fucking
Yeah.
40 years,
Yeah.
mate.
Mate,
Like-
2 years I've been there, Uptown in JLT, that building was nothing. That's just come up. Business Bay's always fucking changing. Dubai Creek was basically flat. That's now its own entire community. It's insane
Well,
how quickly it
all I'm
changes,
saying
right?
is that, like, it's as little as 4 years ago, when I first arrived in Dubai, that, you know, the shutters were up during Ramadan.
Yeah,
and
curtains closed
You
when
weren't
you're
allowed to
eating.
eat in public. If
Yeah.
you did that, then you're arrested, more or
Yeah.
less. And there was all these things, bars were closed, blah blah blah. There's all this shit that you couldn't do.
Yeah.
And that was only 3.5, 4 years ago, man.
It doesn't exist anymore, does it?
And over that course of time, now I think, and he even agreed. He said what they've done is clever to a certain extent, but now it's come to a point where, like, how do these Muslim people feel who were born and bred here, or even just Muslim in general and from the Middle East and thereabouts, who are used to Ramadan being like, don't drink,
Yeah,
don't eat,
yeah.
don't whatever, don't show me food, I don't want to smell it, whatever, like, and it's like out the window over here.
It is, yeah, it
more
is,
or less.
it is.
Like, yeah. So he said, like, it's clever what they've done during the COVID time, because during COVID, there was obviously the tourists went down, the economy was going down, and then during Ramadan, they were like, well, we need to keep our food and beverage up because landlords are still charging, or some aren't as lenient as others, and we need to help these guys out. And because the government helped out F&B in that way, where they still let people eat during the likes of Ramadan, and started changing the rules
Because it was so bad for
during
business,
COVID
right?
times. I'm not saying it was 100% business, but at the end of the day, taking away Ramadan still allows tourists to come during these few couple of months as well, where they're not concerned as much about what they're limited to.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone got the letter or the website that says the to-do list and not to-do list when you come to Dubai.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone's read through one of those, and it always says the same thing, even today. The reality is, just don't...
You'd be
fuck
hard
around,
pressed to distinguish this between any Western country. I genuinely believe that. As long as you're respectful, then you could be living anywhere in the world right now. Like, genuinely.
Well,
It's
I
all
wouldn't...
about
true,
respect,
true.
right?
I mean,
It's
there's a
all
lot
about
more
respect.
mosques, but...
There's a lot more.
I get what you're trying to
This is
say.
true. I don't know. Have you been to East London?
I haven't, no.
No. That was a terrible joke. I don't even know if we'll include that. Anyway,
Is there a mosque in East London?
there's quite a few, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
There's quite a few. See, I think it was like it was TripAdvisor or something like that, and Dubai got voted the best place to live in the world. I think it was behind. I think it was in front of. Bali was second, and strangely London was third, which
That is a bit strange.
But I just thought it's not finished yet. Like when you drive around Dubai, it's either
London isn't finished yet.
fuck off. London isn't finished yet. There's no, what do you mean? London was finished 40 years ago, mate. That's why the prices are going up now.
Alright, okay. What about this then? But you would say that Business Bay is pretty full, right?
yeah.
Oh, what can they do in Business Bay? Well, the buildings are pretty old. And when I say old, I mean like 20 years, maybe 10
In
years.
Business Bay?
But what they're doing is, and when you see all these futuristic photos, all the same buildings are there. What do you think they're going to do to those?
Knock them down.
No,
Yeah, of course they will.
not all of them.
Of course they will.
No,
reckon,
no.
Mate.
No.
Mate, I've been thinking about this for ages.
No.
The next 20 years...
They'll refurbish them.
I don't think that'll be enough. I think in 20 years' time, regulations in terms of like building, whether it's cladding as a result
So you're
of
going to get
growth or-
someone who paid out the arse for a plot of land and then built something to knock it down and build a new something. Not going to happen unless
Mate.
they build it, they knock it down, and someone buys someone buys the plot of land, buys the building, knocks it down themselves.
Yeah, but
it's
that's
not going to
what-
happen.
Mate, it 100% is. I was thinking
No
this,
one's
right?
got that much money.
Manchester Tower
It's
in
not
the marina.
feasible.
Manchester Tower in the marina, right?
Because then in another 40 years, people are going to come back and be like, oh, right, well, I knocked it down 30 years ago, so I better just knock it
No,
down again.
it's because
That's
Dubai
not
is
sustainable.
so... No, it's not going to be a
Unsustainable?
sustainable thing.
Unsustainable?
No, it's not going to be a...
What you're saying is knocking down Business Bay and rebuilding it.
Can I just say my point?
Yeah, go on.
Right? Dubai is such an unregulated market, right? What was it? 10 years or so ago, there was Grenfell Tower in the UK, right? Because the cladding wasn't up to scratch. Fucking catastrophe.
Exactly.
The
So
regulations out here are not as caught up as they are in somewhere like London, right? So it is awful, but it's inevitable there is going to be a Grenfell-like disaster out here, which will change all of the regulations in place. And it will have to be the building complies or it's gone. So my sort of sounding board for this is Manchester Tower in the marina, right? One of the shittest buildings in the world.
But you can upgrade, like,
I don't think...
for example, right, what happened to Grenfell Tower, right? From what I know, the people who were building it, the contractors, who were using different materials taken from elsewhere, and these materials did not collaborate. For example, it was like the fire stops in between the aluminium cladding had gaps in it, and the fire managed to just travel up the building from the inside, right? Now, they were refurbishing these buildings, but they were supplying all this shit from elsewhere and they didn't fucking do it properly, blah blah blah. It's their fault. Whoever's fault. Anyway, but the structure was still intact. People could still live in their homes.
Not Grenfell.
People still lived there.
No, they fucking did.
Well, but no,
Maybe
not
very
afterwards. Not afterwards. Maybe they were moved elsewhere during the construction, but it was just the cladding.
Whilst the refurbishment was happening.
So the refurbishment was being done.
Yeah.
That can be done inside and outside.
Fine.
While people still live in their homes. No bother at all. So where are you going to put these people? Why do you think that people weren't just moved somewhere else? Because there's just that much available housing all the time? No.
There is out here.
But government would need to pay for that.
But this
or
is
a
the
contractor who is doing it. Or the owner of the building would need to pay for that.
But I think they will,
it's
mate.
not feasible.
I think it is feasible. I think, genuinely, I believe the best investment...
They would need to find a bulk lease and then transfer everyone, and these people are going to have to pay for transfer costs and everything. If you're talking...
You're right.
Okay, let's not get into the
Right,
fucking Jesus.
yeah.
We're just so political, man. All I'm saying is that I think people are more likely to refurbish a building rather than knock it down and build it up, because refurbishing is a lot more sustainable. And if you're talking about the fucking news coming up in COP Summit being in Dubai next, let's
keep it going. Keep it going.
COP
You're
Summit,
on fire with this.
COP Summit being in Dubai next year.
Next year. No, I don't know if it's Dubai or if it's UAE, but it's one of the two.
Then they're going to have to talk about sustainable options anyway.
Okay.
Sustainable standards.
Yeah.
Fair. Using brown sites and refurbishing them, using buildings that are already built and making them livable to today's standards. That's sustainable. Knocking it down and making more concrete and using all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But they've just done it, mate. Dubai Pearl. Did you see the other day? It just got demolished.
In Qatar?
No, here. It's just outside the marina. Dubai Pearl, they blew it up and then it was going around on all the socials. Oh my god, there's an earthquake in Dubai, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, mate, I never saw anything about that.
Really? Yeah, they've literally just knocked a building down.
How old is it?
I
sounds
don't
old.
know. I couldn't remember.
It sounds
I couldn't tell you. But yeah, they've literally just done it. That just popped back in, yeah.
Do you know why?
No. No.
Okay, we'll find out.
Good news, isn't it? Yeah.
But
so COP Summit is going to be it next year. So
I'm actually, I think, I haven't really been following the COP summits.
No.
Because it's a lot of talk and not much action, and it's a lot of people getting
Controversial.
upset and a lot of people not getting upset, and talking about economy in comparison to the world and what it's going to be in 40 years, blah, blah, blah.
But it's interesting because we just had the World Cup. Before that, we had Expo. There was something else that we had before that as well, wasn't there? Was it just World Cup and Expo? Must have just been World Cup and Expo. But anyway, it's just more emphasis on how on the map Dubai and the UAE is becoming. Do you know what I mean? Like this year is a relatively quiet year. There's not too much going on.
I'm interested to see, like, why if people in the COP summit from, say, the Western world or elsewhere. Paris is a big influencer when it comes to this thing. France. If they target the UAE, because it's a big place to target, and they're going to be obviously their expansion plans for 2040, 2033, doubling the economy.
You're on fire, mate. You're on fire. For those that don't know, we've got a checklist. We've got some talking points in front of us. And Danny's just reading them off, honestly. I'm trying to drag it out a bit. Dan's just like, no, it's into this one, into that one, into that one.
You got to try and compress information to make it sound good.
You're right.
If they're planning on doubling the economy by 2033, and doubling the population, then you need more housing, you need better roads, you need everything. And how are Dubai and the UAE going to handle this when they've got so much money and oil and blah blah blah? Like, that's a huge talking point. If I was from France or even the UK, and we really cared about the planet, then I'd be like, well, let's look at places who aren't doing as much as others.
Yeah.
Now, Europe are pretty good at throwing things under and making it look like it's not them, sending it elsewhere to like Malaysia or something, garbage. Oh, we recycle a lot. No, you don't. It's in a container and fucking...
Who are we insulting now? Just so I'm on the same page. Oh, right, yeah.
Anyway.
This is for all our Belgian fans.
That was old news though, man. I'm not up to date. But all I'm saying is that targeting the UAE I think it's really interesting.
But it's not targeting the UAE.
Oh, it's not targeting,
COP is
but it's
always
it's
held in a
it's in
different
their
country
bloody
every year.
home country, right? So they might have.
So the spotlight will be on them.
They might have a bit of pride about, oh, we're representing this, but at the end of the day, they are going to get slated.
Okay.
Let's face it.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Because we're all in blah 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 place. We're all in UAE. What are we going to talk about? Well, it's good to be in the UAE. I have noticed no one takes the bus except for people of a certain. Right. Okay. Let's start again. Jesus. I need to fucking calm my mouth, man. And we'll cut it at calm my mouth. And they'll
staying in the audio.
They'll step into the UAE and they'll think, all right, this is different in comparison to my country.
Yeah, because you're right. It's not
public transport is definitely not as established.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Without
mature.
We've touched on infrastructure before.
We've touched on all this infrastructure. So that's the first thing they're going to notice. It's the first thing I noticed. It's like I can't get a bus. Yeah. It's going to take me 2 hours. I can jump in the metro, but I'm going to JVC.
It doesn't exist, does it?
I better get a taxi. So that sort of thing. And
it's interesting.
You need an underground system. That'd be amazing.
Again, I was sort of bringing this all in. No, it would cost too much. We need an overground system. We need a monorail.
What's a monorail?
Monorail. You never seen the Simpsons episode? It's just like it's like the underground in London.
So an underground.
No, the overground. Like the metro is.
Like
the metro is overground.
An overground is bad for real estate, though.
It's bad for real estate, but it would cost a hell of a lot less than digging underneath. And thinking about it, I don't know if we would, because we're on sand, right?
Mate, come on.
It would have to be a fucking deep metro. Have you ever played Minecraft? If you dig under sand, the sand falls on top of you.
Aye, but like you could make steel casing, iron casing.
It's doable, obviously. It's doable, but I bet it's a lot harder and a lot more expensive than in London.
It'll cost billions, no doubt.
Do you know, this is a fun fact. Do you know why there's not that many skyscrapers in London until more recently? So sand out here is really easy to build on because it compresses and then it solidifies. But in the UK, especially London...
Can I make a guess?
Go on.
Because there's so...
I basically told you half the answer, but...
Oh, no, never mind, go on.
No, go on.
No, I probably got it wrong, but for example, right?
Yeah.
In Glasgow, which is a big city, they've got so many underground tunnels, transits, and old methods of transport from back in, I don't know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and drainage systems like the old...
It's basically hollow.
Yeah, the Glasgow, a lot of it is mainly, or in the city centre, is like on stilts. And you can take tours underground, and it's just unused space now. But I was thinking skyscrapers, maybe they found the right places. Or maybe they decided to like say fuck the underground, fuck the useless space that was previously used and is now a historical and tourist landmark. What were you going to say though about the soil?
Yeah, it's literally that, right? So it's a clay in the UK, and the clay, when you compress it, it will just slide away, especially because you've got the River Thames going through it, right? It's constantly wet. So it's too hard or it was too hard until technology has caught up to build these skyscrapers. And that's why now we're getting the Shard is up and it's becoming higher because the technology has caught up. But it was always too hard to build skyscrapers. Fun fact.
Where did you get your facts from?
I've known this for a while for some reason. I used to be fascinated with architecture, so it's just been up there.
Because in my opinion, the piles, which are not the STD, but
piles isn't an STD.
What's piles?
Piles is when you sit on an hard chair and you get pops of blood vessel in your arse.
You're right, yeah, like abscesses and shit.
Yeah.
No, piles not like the abscess, but the foundation, which is like a big, massive concrete stilt, essentially, that gets... It can be drilled into the ground, it can be hammered into the ground, whatever. Right. But if it goes deep enough, then it's got stability, because the ground just gets harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
It can be up to like 30 metres long.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Shard and all that stuff, who was it built by? Who paid for it? Someone with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? So someone with a lot of money wanted a tall tower, and
Yeah, but it
they
had to
a
wait
solution.
for technology to catch up. Is
Did
what
they
I'm
know?
saying.
How old is the shard?
10 years maybe? 15, 20 years?
Mate, people were using fucking foundations that depth for fucking.
No,
blocks
but
on
it
them.
was not physically possible before. The clay was too loose,
Yeah.
too malleable.
Okay. Interesting
Anyway.
though.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, you
I'm
you
so
got the strips.
debatable, man.
I know you fucking
You know
are.
how it gets. You
I
know
know
how
that.
it gets. I just end up trying to question.
Anyway, do you
But-
know what? I would love to read a book written by you because you're so debatable.
I see where you're going.
Do you? Yeah, do you? I'm having to go at this segue.
Speaking of books, I mean, we've touched on a certain subject, right?
Certain D
but-
word.
Foundations and news and Christmas and COVID and all that aside, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting
So,
into the
well,
thick
let's
of
get.
it now.
We're
yeah.
getting towards
Yeah,
real estate. We're not quite.
Welcome
there.
back
We're not
to
quite
Two
there
Broke
yet. We're not
Brokers,
quite
yeah.
there yet. So I decided we haven't even talked about how broke we are. I decided to write.
Can I just say, I thought this was brilliant when I heard this. And I'm still not sure I believe it, but the fact
Right.
that you're about to talk about it is huge. So
About 2 weeks ago, I sat down and I thought, man, I've got some opinions. I've got some points of view that I want to express, right? And I felt a bit creative. So I got my laptop out and I started writing. And I was writing a book on discipline. And, I didn't even fucking brainstorm a big plan or anything. You know how it is. You just got to dive balls deep
you've
into
just
these
got to
sort
get
of
your
things.
thoughts out on the
Yeah.
paper, yeah.
So that's what I was doing. And then, like, the next day, I formatted it into a bit more structure. And then I started adding into it. And then I just kept going. And the book is on discipline, right? The D word. We've covered it loads of times. But I thought, I've got enough to say about it. I might as well get started. And I was meant to bring a passage today, just to like, because some of the stuff I wrote was like, it was quite good. I thought it was quite good anyway. We'll see what everyone thinks. And I told you in the car when we were coming here, I said, but there is one obstacle I've come across, and it's discipline.
I've just thought of a title whilst you've been talking. Dan's Big D. It's not bad, right? Sorry guys, he did send me an extract of it a little while
Go on
ago.
your WhatsApp.
I'm on my WhatsApp, thank you. I'm just having a quick look to see. Here we go. Can I read it on your behalf?
Go on then.
Introduction. This book has been written by yours truly, someone, alongside many other individuals, who has always had an awareness of discipline, who has the good and bad on each shoulder, but tends to listen to the side that has other ideas. For example, to keep the finger up the arse, take it out for a short period of time, or take it out completely and wash those hands. Yes, it can be tough to pull up the socks, quit bad habits as well as starting the good ones. This book will cover obstacles in the way of progress, as well as the understanding of the psychology behind it all and everything in between. Let us be more disciplined so that we can achieve what we want to achieve. For your sake, I would not take all of this too seriously. The messages you will read are coming from a person who needs to keep himself entertained while he writes it. So, expect some terrific and terrible patter. Just reading that out loud, so many typos. The grammar is awful.
You said it perfectly.
I was adjusting it in my head.
Well, if you can read something perfectly, then it's easy to read, and the grammar must be good,
No,
right?
it's because I'm brilliant and I was doing it in my head. So if I read it word for word, this book...
shut up, all
No,
right.
no. This book will cover obstacles in the way of progress as well as my understand of the psychology behind it all and everything
You
in
must
between.
have the old one.
Is it? Yeah. Is it? Is it? The old one, yeah?
But
No, but genuinely, mate,
listen,
this is sick. This is really cool. Yeah.
I think apart from the grammar and bullshit like that, like
But that's why you
I'm
get
pretty good
editors,
at
mate,
I'm
yeah.
pretty good at grammar anyway, fixing up afterwards. Like you say, you just have to get it out, and when you go and revise it and fix it up and fix it up and
Exactly,
fix
yeah.
it up,
That was, I think, sent to me at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
something stupid. But I would love to produce a piece of material that could potentially help someone.
Hey,
And
that's
like-
what this podcast is.
And like it is, like it says, it's that I need to keep myself entertained while I write it, right? I mean, part of my discipline is, right, I need to have fun, because if I don't have fun, I'll get bored. And if I'm bored, then I might not be asked to achieve it in its fullest.
We're
right?
back to our big debate. What's the point in doing something if you're not having fun whilst you're doing it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, that's why I'm rating it. I'll try and make it sound fun, and when you are writing and being creative, you need to be in a space of somewhat inspiration.
Yeah, of course.
And that inspiration comes down. Like, I can be sitting on a couch and I'm like, I really want to do something, but I don't know what to do. And then you start thinking, and then you're like, shit, I could be creative right now. I could do it. And then you set your shit up and you start writing. Or, like, if you're a painter, then it's like when you have that feeling.
You set your easel up and you
get that sort of creative feeling. You're like, shit, I'm going to go and start painting.
Yeah.
And you just set up your stuff and you're like, now I'm in my zone. So yeah, I think I've got about 2,000 words in.
Bloody hell.
I got busy one night, but like it could take the whole year. I don't know. Maybe I should set some goals and just try and get down.
But this is the thing. I think as soon as you set yourself goals, you're losing the creativity to a degree, right?
What I'm saying is that if you set a goal, you think about it more because you've got a goal.
Okay.
And then when I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching something, I can be like, I've got that goal. I'm in the mood for it. Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe not tonight.
Okay.
But then the next day, I'll do it tomorrow. And then when I get home and I realise I'm watching the same programme and I'm like, fuck this. And then I sit and I'll sit in silence because I've got maybe nothing to do. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't.
No.
I ordered in. I've got a bit of spare time in my hands. Then, they could come to you then. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
fascinating.
Let's see if I can get another bit done before next week.
I'm hoping this will be some encouragement now that you've not committed to it, but now that you've put it out there, hopefully something will come to it.
Every time I say it, it's a problem with discipline is the more you talk about it, the less you do.
You reckon?
So most of the time I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, I'm going to be like this, I'm going to go and do this.
I'm going to do this job, I'm going to do that job, I'm going to do this job.
And then,
I'm going to go into sales.
And then you end up not doing anything because you've committed
too much.
You've said to everyone so many things, and you know what? It does fucking break your credibility a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I know you expect me not to finish this. Just based on, like, general discipline, but I'm going to try. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's fucking awesome.
Give it a bloody shot and we'll see what happens.
I think that's really fucking cool, to be honest.
And then I can start advertising my book. And it's just going to have my face like Dan's Big D.
You'll be fucking paying for sponsors, I'll tell you that, mate.
So,
have you thought of a title yet? I think Dan's Big D is quite funny.
I think my title was Getting to Discipline. It was kind of...
That's shit, that is. That's shit.
Getting to discipline or... like getting to discipline eventually was sort of like so it's like, oh, here we go.
I think it needs work. I think it needs work.
Anyway,
but anyway, write in if you want to listen to Dan's book or read Dan's book.
There's another podcast.
I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll do a giveaway, right, at the end of the year. Write in if you think Dan will finish the book, and if he doesn't, and then if he does, and then we'll award it. I don't know.
I'll give you a free copy. I'll come in A4 paper in a fucking envelope.
Every page will be signed, yeah.
So, speaking of
discipline,
this
is the smoothest podcast we've ever done.
Let's move on from discipline. I only wanted to mention it for a short period because it was
a book on it.
Because that started after Christmas, after the New Year. But looking into real estate in the future, I thought it'd be good to start talking about where you think you are now. Because 2023, new year, you're thinking of, what am I going to do this year?
Yeah.
And you kind of reflect on the past. So why don't you tell us, Josh, a little bit about where you were and where you are now and what you think 2023 is looking like.
That's heavy, bro. So I last year left one of the most established real estate companies in Dubai to go to a startup, a one-man band, and grow the business in my own image because I am God. Anyway, I ended up leaving that startup because basically creative decisions, right? Basically creative decisions. And I'm now at a different company altogether. The startup is closed down, by the way, for the record.
Oh no!
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Fucking wankers, honestly. I'm not even ashamed to say it. Wankers. So I left them. They then closed down.
I've heard enough stories to agree with you there.
And now I'm in a good position. I'm quite secure, quite comfortable. I'm riding what potentially could be a bubble. And full disclosure, I think by the end of this year, I think I want to be running my own business.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know whether I'll stay in real estate. I don't know if I'll do something totally different. I don't know if it will be in Dubai. I don't know anything about it yet. It's the bare bones of an idea. There's not even a plan. But I think, mate, more than anything, I want to get out of this sort of capitalism bullshit, man. I can't fucking stand it. People living to work, and it's just bizarre to me. Like, I don't get it.
There's not an awful lot of
fallen
well-being in offices these days over here.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, like, having a what would you say? Like you said, working to live, or living while working, and all
It's
this.
just a bizarre, mate. By the end, maybe not running my own business, although that is probably the dream. I just want to be doing something I enjoy, man.
I think if you were running your own business, you'd obviously have full control over it, but at the same time, you have responsibility for the people who are working for you.
Agreed,
now,
but I'm not talking like, I don't want like a corporation with hundreds of employees and making loads of money. I just want to earn enough to survive doing something that I genuinely enjoy. And I know that's everybody's dream, and I sound like a twat, but
well, it depends what standards you want to live to in your own mind.
This is the thing, yeah. This is the thing. Like, I don't. What's the dream to me? I want a fucking little cabin in the woods somewhere that I don't have to talk to people.
Right. If you fuck off to Sweden, then they've got.
That is the dream, mate. That's the absolute dream. And then once a year, I'd come and I'd visit all my friends and I'd visit you guys. I'd come out to Dubai for a week. And then that'd be it. And then I'd retreat for the rest of the year. I'd be like a reverse hibernation sort of person. This world is fucked, man. I don't want anything to do with it. Anyway, I got morbid. I had a good icebreaker question the other day.
So he left a very established company.
Yes.
You joined a startup.
Yes.
It was a good opportunity, but trial and tested. If you make mistakes, you learn from them, and you know what? You won't get into yourself that position again. Like, you won't.
No, exactly right.
You won't get yourself into that position again.
Yeah, agree
because
totally.
Now you understand people who like them, and you tried it, mate.
Yeah, mate, I tried it.
To you.
I tried it.
It takes a lot of balls
I put my hat down, and I went over with the expectation that they'd listen to me and my decisions that I was trying to make.
And follow the contract, of course.
Follow the contract. Didn't happen. Wasn't promised things that, material things that were promised when I was going over. And they didn't listen to my decisions. They didn't want to take on my experience, even though I'd done a year and a half, as I said, as one of the most established real estate brands in the UK. So I left. Dubai, yeah, sorry. So I left, and within 2 months, they went into liquidation. I'm not smug, but I am a little bit smug.
I'm not surprised. They didn't have from what it sounded, a great vision. Anyway,
they were doing things right.
You can read up on the statistics of startups, and it's worse in certain countries, but
you'll understand this.
Most SMEs don't last 5 years. Never mind 5 months.
I just want to get your opinion on this. So, as I was leaving, whilst I was in my notice period, the director of the company was like, what can we do to be generating more leads? I don't want to be doing the cold callings because I'm against it. Like, I just...
Who? You?
The director. No, this is all the director. She was like, I'm the director, I shouldn't be making the cold calls. Even though I had just left and she was the only person doing the cold calls. So she was ringing up her friends in Dubai, be like, will you do me a favour? Will you give me your title deed? Can I photograph your property? Can I put it on the market? And then I'll obviously just say it's not available, and then at least I've got some clients coming in as a result of that advert. Bizarre, mate. Absolutely bizarre. That was how she worked her business model.
I think, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And unsurprisingly, nobody agreed to it. Because nobody wants their house on the market, right?
No.
Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, it's mental, actually.
It's terrible, mate.
She
it's
just
terrible.
didn't want to do it. She was a bit lazy, maybe. I don't know.
Lazy and entitled, I think.
But you don't want to be in Dubai anymore, is that what you're saying?
Love Dubai. It's definitely not where I'm going to spend the rest of my life.
Okay.
That goes without saying. Genuinely, the dream for me is a little self-sufficient cabin in the woods, like just doing my own thing, a cosy little cabin, fireplace. I like
Just
cold weather.
Playing with wood all day.
That's the title of my book.
Playing with wood. How to build a fucking...
Yeah, mate. Like, I will totally admit I'm here as a stepping stone. I don't know where I'm going to end up. It might be that I just stepping stone leads to another one, and I end up spending the rest of my life here. There's no plan. But yeah, mate, I don't... Do you want to be 50 years old and doing real estate in Dubai? Not knowing where the next deal is coming from, not knowing if the market's going to crash, if the market's going to rise.
I'm not the kind of person who would be in real estate till I'm 50 unless I was absolutely chilling, man. Like, real estate isn't incredibly hard once you know how to work it like
sort
properly.
the shit out.
If you can get yourself a balance and still bring in some deals at 50 years old, I doubt I'd be a broker.
But
I'd
mate,
be maybe a manager who helps out things and maybe even had my own company. I don't know. But I'm not saying I don't see myself doing it. I don't really know. I think the direction that I'm going in right now, and I don't want to talk about it, actually.
I thought that was exactly where we were going.
It says potential.
Okay.
I think
you're not incriminating
No,
yourself on this podcast.
I don't, because I've got, like, I mean, when you're talking about your future, you're talking about
very personal
everything.
things,
I mean,
yeah,
it's personal or personal not, but, like, I don't know. Like, who knows who's watching? And if I've got job interviews coming up or something else, then they're like, well, actually, he told me a completely different thing in the interview, whatever.
Fair
so I'm just not going to talk about it. But what I can say is, if I'm to talk about my past, from 2 years I've worked in this company, and since then, yeah, I've done a lot of deals, small, medium. I have. And
I didn't say anything.
And during that time, the managers changed, and as a commercial department, they're not really focused on as much as others. So we didn't have much direction. Now, I knew myself that if I wanted to succeed in the industry, then I would need some form of focus. But although I had the motivational to go out and do fucking everything in Dubai, I didn't seem to have the motivation to focus down on a certain area, right? New manager comes, he's got 10 years experience, and he says, what the bloody hell are you all doing? Why are you running around all over the place? That's too hard. You can't just do the whole of Dubai, and that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But he said to me, Dan, I'm impressed about the fact that you've got this much done. But if you want to make a lot of money, or if you want to make money in general, a lot more than you've been surviving on, then this is what people who make money do. And he said, so see all these listings that you've got here, get rid of them. You're not working on them anymore. He didn't say it like that, but I knew what he was saying.
This is cutting to the shit, yeah.
He just says, just get rid of them.
But mate, this is infuriating to hear for me, and I'm sure for our listeners, because this has been your plan for the past pretty much as long as I've known you.
But I haven't had an area to focus on, right?
But that's because you didn't go out and pick it. I told you, you should have been the fucking manager.
I didn't really know what area to pick, right? But I'll tell you something. working in like the depths of shit and the top and this contrast, right? I've learned how to deal with almost anyone over the phone when it comes to commercial real estate. It could be warehouses, offices, retail, whatever, you name it. I can talk to you about it. I know about something about it. I know someone we can talk to, whatever, right? So I've got that expertise. And he came in, right? 10 years experience in downtown, only one area. And he says, Daniel, what area do you want to focus on? And I said, what area are you focusing on? And he goes, downtown. I said, I'll pick downtown. I mean, I'm finalising a deal today. He's been in the company just before Christmas. I had my listing up, 2 weeks. He gave me the listing. He says, go get that leased. I got 2 phone calls. On the second one, another agent calls me up. She actually works for a real estate company who's owned by the company who's going to be leasing the office.
Yeah.
Anyway, she calls me up. We're going to come see it, blah, blah, blah. Qualified them. They came over. They liked it. They're taking it. And today I made £10,000. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, now I'm working in an area with higher caliber of people.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
and the listings that I'm getting and the people I'm working with, I knew they were all down there, but I didn't know if it was worth going there because if there was a market down there,
in the right direction,
how much it's turning over.
Yeah.
The turnover to me was what buildings turn over. Like Lorenzo said, look for those high turnover buildings.
Yeah.
I didn't know what buildings to look for, so I was picking everything. And then I check it out, right, that's a shit one, I won't work on that. I was going down from every single building I found before.
With experience. Yeah, exactly.
So
then that's the sign of a good manager.
No,
they point you in the right direction based
definitely.
on their experience. And without that, how are you supposed to succeed?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because we're fucking good at what we do, but we're only 2 years experience.
Yeah.
That isn't enough.
When you're on a commission only basis, you are more or less your own boss.
Yeah.
You've got the freedom to do and work as hard as you want. Even if you don't fucking work at all, eventually you get fired if you're just doing plain shit. But for someone to come in and say, Daniel, do you want to make money? Yes, right. So don't work on that then. Like, right, okay, and you're just like the things that you thought were your bread and butter. For example, I wanted to survive, so I had shit listings up. Just so that I could get someone in.
Because eventually it will rent and you'll make a quick buck here.
Yeah, I needed that. I needed it. I felt I needed it. But it turns out I didn't, right?
Because the time you spend on that.
Because the time, yeah. And you just, it becomes a point where it's like, right, Dan, remember you have got self-respect, right? To a certain extent. But like, you can get rid of this and not worry about it. And that's exactly what I did. I went from like 20 listings to 3. And then I built up on that. I think I've got about 9 now.
Okay.
But
9 quality.
But 9 good quality.
Yeah.
And I'm only getting... I when the phone rings in the evening, I still don't answer it because I want the balance. But I know if I answered it, it could be a good client. And now that that's happening more, I reckon I'll end up working in the evenings.
But you would argue, or my big argument, because it's the whole reason I want to get out of this market, is because I want that work-life balance back. If it's a good client, they will still be there in the morning. It's the people that okay, in residential, right, you'll get some people who are the ones that are gonna rent or buy with you, who are looking constantly and will message you in the day, and if you don't answer straight away, they'll message you again, and then again, and then again, and then again. The shit clients, the ones that aren't really that interested, are the ones that will only have a look when they're in bed and they're bored.
Yeah.
Or when they're having dinner and there's nothing on and they're scrolling through their phone or something like that.
They'll phone every agent with the same list.
Exactly. I think if they're a good client, they will still be there in the morning. I'm a huge, huge believer of that. Huge believer of that.
One thing I want to bring up about working in a specific area is establishment and brand.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah,
I'm going to mention his name again.
Oh, fucking hell. I swear to God. We just get him to do this podcast for us.
I know.
If we ever get him on as a guest star, I'll knuckle sandwich his bald head.
He needs to take credit for the work he's done and the things he's said. But Josh Fagan said once that if you're in real estate, you can't just be going month to month or week to week. You have to have this long term.
What do you mean though? That's not
Right.
fucking Gandhi.
I know, but
that's just how you should live your life. That's not
I know.
anything. That's just common sense.
I haven't got to
Mate,
the fucking
this
point
is
yet.
such bullshit.
I haven't got to the
fucking
point yet.
hate it so much. He's so don't live month to month. Thanks. That's what my parents told me to do, and
What?
they make him fucking. Oh,
You're going to
mate.
sound silly when I mention
Go on
it.
then, finish it.
So the point is, right,
Yeah.
now, when you talk to clients,
Yeah.
when you do your job in real estate, although it's commission only, and you can be crazy everywhere and you don't really know, you just want to make sure and make some money. If you treat people, consult people, qualify people, build relationships, and get your face all over that area, then eventually you'll be the go-to guy, and in the future, people will come to you and know you for being in that area. Now, although it's common sense,
It's not fucking gold dust though, mate.
I'm
Do
not,
you know
I'm
what
just
I mean?
making a point.
Of course, if your face is out there, people will come to you. It fucking. I don't have time for it, mate.
Oh, okay.
This
Well,
is why I
maybe
want
I'm-
out.
maybe
I
I'm
can't
not.
believe this is how we're doing our first fucking podcast of the year.
Right.
Okay.
All I'm
I
saying
get
is,
it.
yeah,
I get it. You didn't have to
building-
mention his name because
being an established broker, right?
Yeah, of course-
now,
of course
I
it
would
is,
I would
sir.
call myself a consultant, yeah. But now that I'm in downtown, right, and I know every building in there,
You're
and
an
my face has at least one listing on each of those buildings. People will be like, right, I want to go into downtown. I'll go through this building, and they'll see my face. They won't really recognise me at first. They'll go through another building. Oh, I've seen him before. They'll go through another one. I've seen him before. He's all over downtown.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a call.
Mate, the thing is, right, like,
The quality leads.
again, I don't know what the reason for this is, but in the UK, real estate isn't that big an industry. Do you know what I mean? But in America specifically, real estate is a huge industry, and I don't know it personally, but I know it from films and stuff like that. Is that to be a real estate agent in the USA, you put it on facing bus shelters, you put it on park benches, you put it on billboards and stuff like that. Because it's that exact thing. You get your name out there. That doesn't really exist in Dubai. Is that because nobody's cottoned onto it yet and is willing to pay for the advertising, or are there some rules and regulations in place?
I'll tell you what, right? I'll make an example as well.
Mhm.
If you've ever done photography,
Yeah.
before you did photography, you thought you knew how to take a picture.
Yeah.
And then you realise the rules. And then every time you watch a movie or take a picture,
start
you know
picking
how
up
to
on
make
it, Dutch
the best
angles
ones.
and yeah.
Now, in real estate, when you haven't done real estate and you look for a house, you kind of know what websites to go for. You don't know too much about the companies, so you call up someone who's done a house before and you find out who they used and if they were any good.
Yeah.
Now, when I went back to Glasgow at Christmas time, a COVID-less Christmas, so I could walk the streets, have a look around, and I could see like what commercial real estate do they have in Glasgow, and I saw a few names that I'd seen before, like
In the
Savills,
subconscious.
JLL, like the International, the big dogs. They were the guys with the type of commercial real estate that I would say was in the prime areas.
Okay.
And then you had like other ones. I can't remember the names.
Interesting though that Savills and JLL are both, like you said,
they're
international
everywhere.
names. Yeah, international
So
names.
there's companies that you can go to if you want to pay them specifically, but you know that they can handle it.
Mm.
And I imagine Savills and JLL have better commercial departments in certain countries. Like, I won't say anymore.
No, but I get what you're saying. But I find that fascinating that the local companies aren't shining through. That you've got these international big players because their brand name is everywhere. If you drove down to London, you would probably pass 100 Savile signs, and then you drive back up to Glasgow, you pass those 100 Savile signs again. They're in your subconscious, mate.
This is when
so
you
that's
realise,
the whole thing about getting your face out there.
This is when you realise, like, if you're a key player in the industry, right? If you're a big player as someone who's looking for property, right? You'll have experienced already. I'm talking about people with money who may have more than one property or more than one company, who have searched for offices in the past and have been through all this type of stuff. They'll know certain names in the business through recommendations only.
Yeah.
It'll be like, he'll meet a pal with a company, he say, I had this guy from this company and he was absolutely excellent, right? Now, Dubai is actually quite small when it comes to commercial real estate. This is where I think, like, I've got a good opportunity.
Agreed.
Because if I could get my face all over downtown and do a good job for a lot of people, then the more relationships I build, the more deals I do, small or large, the more people are going to say, right, I met this guy who had the same name as James Bond, and it sticks in their head, and I'm going to pass that to him. And as I say, I think it's branding is huge.
No, totally agree with you. But interesting you said about it being quite a small world. If we're going to be talking about like people, influencers and stuff in the real estate, like Josh Fegan, do you follow Callum White on LinkedIn?
No.
He's the owner of White & Co.
Right.
And
in fact, I've seen a few of his posts actually.
He's on fire this year, and he did a really interesting post. He said he had a bunch of new starters, and he goes over and he meets them all when he starts, and he says, does anyone have any questions for me? And one of them turned around and went, how did you become a successful agent in such an oversaturated market? And his post goes on and says, yes, there's 8,000 agents in Dubai. That looks like it's oversaturated. And this is for residential, obviously, not commercial. And he goes, but the amount of good brokers, the amount of brokers that get recommendations, the amount of brokers that do the proper advertising is infinitely smaller than that it's so not oversaturated. It's so easy as soon as you do follow those principles that I'm sure Josh Fegan goes on about all the fucking time. But it's just common sense, do you know what I mean? Just do the right things. Don't chase commission, chase relationships, and it's not an oversaturated market because everybody can. This is this is what's wrong with Dubai, and this is why Josh Fegan is so fucking rich. Is because real estate people, there's no entry barrier. Do you know what I mean? Any fucking idiot can be a real estate agent, and let me tell you, every fucking idiot is a real estate agent, and they think that when they're listening to Josh Fegan, they think he's Jesus Christ with the fucking scribes telling people, in his Australian accent, "G'day, mate, don't chase your commission, mate, you've got to build relationships." It's common fucking sense, and the fact that you need a trainer to tell you that is why you're shit.
But it's not.
But these are the people that are making fucking millions in real estate, and then there's us two twats that aren't making fucking anything, mate. How is that fair?
We're getting there now. Josh Fegan, if you want a bit of his personal history. He was doing real estate since he was bloody 9 years old.
Anyway, no, bollocks. Nobody's doing real estate since they were 9 years old. His rich mum and fucking dad were doing real estate.
You don't know that.
I do fucking know that. You're telling me at 9 years old he went out and started a real estate business?
I'm not saying that.
Bullshit.
I'm just saying he might have went on a viewing or something.
Yeah. We've got to change the subject. Okay.
But anyway,
I fucking hate it so much, man.
All I'm saying is, it's important to build relationships. This is why we do the fucking podcast.
Why did you say that name? Stop mentioning Josh fucking Fegan, man. It's bullshit. I fucking hate it so much. I did not.
I'm sorry.
I get what you're saying.
Anyway,
I get your point. It's very easy to be a good real estate agent out here.
But no, the White & Co guy made a good point. Oh, you mentioned names. Anyway, who cares?
I know, the White & Co, I will happily endorse White & Co.
No,
sorry, mate, you rattled me there.
That's okay. Get up, it says.
That's probably a good start. That's a good side to start wrapping it up, right?
Yeah. I had a fucking point I was going to say before you went on a rant.
Sorry, mate.
We got through quite a few of these beers, haven't we?
Talking about getting your face out there.
Yeah, I mean,
Becoming an expert. in a
Like
certain
common
area.
sense just said, doing the right thing. I mean, being honest, advising and consulting. You cannot be honest, consult, advise without knowing, without being good at like emotional intelligence, without having sales skills and understanding and listening properly. There's many skills to common sense that you need to actually portray.
Yeah, you need to be able to
words.
apply it and convey your message. Yeah, I get
so
that. I get that.
That can be the hard part for some certain people.
Yeah.
And like you said, the idiots tend to just be purely naive of sorts and not have the same kind of emotional intelligence and listening skills that a good salesperson will have to be able to consult, because when you're getting paid, right?
Yeah.
And you're getting paid for something. You're not just
you're
showing
being paid for a
not
service,
you're not a waiter. You don't give out a food and they pay for the food and then they might tip you. Like when you're waiting,
It's a customary
or
service.
before you wait, you consult on the dinner and blah blah blah, and you have a laugh and you make sure they pick the right food. And don't say waiters don't do that. Like they don't do that.
No, but
you know
high
what
and
I'm
low
trying to
end.
say.
Yeah,
You know what I'm trying to
absolutely.
say. Like you ask them what they want, what they need. You build up their requirements. You position them. You trial close them, and then you justify why they should go for a certain place. And then that consultation, the things that are hard for them to hear, good for them to hear, and whatever, that justifies your fee. You shouldn't have to justify your fee. And that the skills come from all these other soft skills and sales skills. And that should come eventually. For some people it's natural. Some people they've got a bit of something and they just need to work on it. But I don't know.
Mate, I know I'm going to sound like a cunt saying this, but, right, it's different with commercial. I'm going to preface it with that. It's different with commercial. My biggest issue with real estate at the minute, and there are many,
I still come across retards.
No,
Don't get
it's
me
not
wrong.
that, mate. How do you justify your fee as a real estate agent? Because I get it, but the thing is, technology is catching up so fast that our job in residential, and you can listen to any of the big players and they will tell you, no, technology will never catch up, you need to be able to do this, you need to be able to do that.
Well, no, you're
but
going...
our fee is unjustified. I'm sorry, but it is. Landlords should be able to market their own properties and not hire an agent to do it for them.
They can on Gumtree.
They can on Gumtree, but why can't... I'm struggling to justify in my head at the minute what the need of an agent is.
You can put your property online yourself if you want.
But what is the need of a real estate agent? It feels like such an archaic thing. Because we don't add any value. A landlord can go out and get a state-of-the-art camera and take pictures of their property.
Put it this way, right? If you've got one property
Yeah.
and you want it leased,
Yeah.
right, okay, you can do that yourself. You can put up your own listing and get it online. If you've got 2 properties and you want to get them leased, you can do that as well. If you've got 7 properties, then you go for an agency because they've got property management services.
Yeah,
right?
I get.
So now they can manage your properties, and that's a weight off your shoulders. Now you don't need to do your own viewings. Or maybe you've just got a full-time job and you're very, very busy, and you go to an agency and say, can you get this done for me, please?
Right, that makes sense. But that barely exists out here. Oh, no, I suppose you're right. That's a good point, to be fair. If you can't be present to do the viewings. Yeah, I get that. But then what? You're paying us to do a viewing? And out here, it's not even the landlord fucking paying us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the tenant's problem. If they want it, they'll pay.
But it just baffles me. It just absolutely baffles me. And okay, it's different in different markets, but I think in Dubai, properties, especially when you're leasing, there's no surveys, there's no building inspections, there's nothing, right? This is the property. And most people know I either want the marina, downtown, JLT, blah, blah, blah. It's not like they're comparing it school journey times and all this sort of stuff. And it's just, you know the good buildings, you know the bad buildings. We make people's lives easier granted, because we're a one-stop shop. We're a Google for property.
The good agents to recognise when to advise, like you're saying. Like,
But
if
I'm
you know
saying,
the good ones,
if you got rid of us, the world would not stop.
oh, definitely not. No.
Someone can Google how far to the nearest school. Someone can Google, is this building good? Is this community good?
But it wouldn't be easy for people to know where to get information of properties. Like, if I was new to a country and I phoned up an estate agency, my conversation, now that I know real estate, would be, this is who I am, this is a bit about me. I would tell them about me and what I need, and I would say, what areas should I not go to? What areas should I go to? And stuff like that. And they'd say, listen, and I would say to them, I want 2 options, and can you justify why? And then they'd do research on the area. And this is what I do for my people as well.
Yeah, I agree.
When they say, I
do.
want 3 properties, and I've qualified them properly, and now that I know about them and how serious and motivated they are, I will put the time and effort into them. Because if they just say, send me your properties that match with these requirements, it's like size and price. What am I going to do with that? Right, okay. I'll send you like 30 properties and half of them belong to other agents. Like, it doesn't work like that. I need to know that I'm not wasting my time, and I will research and justify why. Like, and I'll give them
we make
4 options and make them easy. I'm sure you've done it as well with residential.
Yeah,
this is good for you because there's a school. You said you had a kid.
Well, I just think
there's a garden. You said you like
Google it.
barbecues.
But you can Google it. Do you know what I mean? You can just fucking Google it, man.
Google what?
Google good schools.
Because people write blogs about fucking everything, right? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, well, people write blogs. People are always on TripAdvisor.
The only reason there's so much information on these properties is because, like, Bayeux, Property Finder, Dubizzle, they have sections when you search in areas that says this is what the area's like.
I get you.
Why do you think? And if you go to websites like Property Monitor that tells you the sales deals and you generate a report for subscribers only, that'll tell you where the nearest schools and everything are. You have to pay for that.
You've got to pay for an agent, though.
And if you're just a person who's searching for websites and information, when are you going to find Property Monitor?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And
but
pay
we
for
are
it. And pay for it just when you're
We're a luxury dressed up as a necessity. People think...
Not at all.
Yeah, people think real estate agents are a necessity.
Then you're not. If real estate agents who are a necessity are not consultants.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, if there was a law that passed tomorrow that said, there are no more real estate agents,
real estate agency,
properties would still sell, properties would still rent.
They would, but then they wouldn't be called real estate agencies anymore. Real estate consultancies.
No, but a landlord could do it themselves.
If they wanted to. But I've just opened up a consultancy over there. It's not an agency. It's a consultancy.
Right, you're being pedantic. Let's wrap up.
Okay. So,
welcome back, guys. As you can see, I've sort of lost the will.
1 hour and 10 minutes to be edited.
To be edited. I reckon we've done about an hour. That's quite good.
I reckon about an hour and 5.
Okay, fuck. No, lads.
We've definitely covered a lot today.
We have, actually. And I'm genuinely going to be honest with you, mate. It feels good just to get this shit off my chest. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's been
this is
building
almost
up
like
for like
therapy for us. Do you know what I mean? I don't even care if nobody's listening. Let's keep this up, mate.
Yeah,
I really do enjoy this.
It's not a podcast with a bit of ranting, mate. And I'm sure if we had, a couple of beers each and started talking, this is exactly what we'd be talking about.
Yeah.
Not that we structure a conversation during a pint, but yeah,
it would just ebb and flow.
We do get
well, to be fair, like we had a few talking points in that. We didn't really stick to them that much. You were obviously going from one to the other for the news, but that's because
we had to cover certain parts of it.
Yeah, we want to be slightly structured.
Anyway, guys, before we go off on another tangent, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah. We'll get back to our normal structure softly. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and we will.
If anybody is anymore, that is, we've probably lost 100 viewers.
Yeah, we've been a bit dormant, haven't we? But here we are. Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone, and we will catch you
Next week.
next week.
Excellent.
All right.
Adios.
Bye for now.